Hey, good morning, folks. It's a beautiful, fine Sunday morning. I'm actually on the road again, as you can see, just leaving my hometown. And since it's being Sunday and the whole reason for my trip down here, I thought today might be a good chance to talk a little bit about religion. So that's kind of going to be the topic for today's video. And specifically, I'm going to focus on something that the pastor at my church where I grew up at, it's the one my mom and dad go to, my sister and my nieces. They all regularly attend this church. But our pastor this morning, he had a sermon, and it was about the two greatest commandments in the Bible. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about that today, and it's very fitting that that was a sermon because I got to experience this firsthand this weekend. And I'll kind of explain all that as I get into my story here a little bit. So if you're not aware of what the two greatest commandments are in the Bible, I believe it's found in all four of the Gospels. And this all takes place during the last week of Jesus' life here on earth. So a lot of the teachers and Jewish leaders were starting to get a little fed up with Jesus because he was really starting to create quite the following. And the Jewish leaders at that time didn't believe that he was the one true Christ, or that he was the Son of God. And so they were, and Jesus at this time was teaching to all the people, to the public, there in Jerusalem. And so people were coming and they were just amazed at how wise he was and how he was able to answer their questions. He was healing the sick, just performing miracles and teaching about God. And so these Jewish leaders weren't too happy because he was kind of stealing their thunder. And so they were asking him a question, and one of the questions they asked him was, what is the greatest commandment in all the Bible? Or what is the greatest commandment or the greatest law that we need to follow as Jews? And so he actually gave them two answers. And if you figured out by now, that's what the title of this video is. And it's HSMS. And the first and greatest commandment that Jesus said was to love with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind, and all your strength. And then he said, and the second commandment that goes along with that is to love your neighbor as yourself. So those are the two greatest commandments that Jesus told us that we all need to follow. And I got to witness this firsthand yesterday. Unfortunately, it was at a funeral for a close friend of the family. But I got to witness a great community outpouring for this friend that had passed away. The funeral home, they did the service at the funeral home, and the funeral home was packed. It was honestly, it was standing room only. And talking to this person's mother and brother, they didn't expect there to be that many people there. But, being from a small town, growing up in a small town, we look out for each other and care for each other. And that was another thing our pastor kind of closed out his sermon with today, was people don't know or don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And, it was really neat to really see our community, our friends and neighbors really come out and support this family in their time of grieving. And I think that holds true, for anybody that passes away in my hometown, to be quite honest. A lot of people come out and show their support. Just about a month ago, I had a girl I went to high school and college with. She was just a year younger than me, and her husband passed away very unexpectedly in an accident. And they have 2 young kids, and fortunately I was able to go to the viewing or the wake, and the line was out the door. I stood in line for like 2 hours. So it's unfortunate it takes events like that to happen for people to come together, but it's also really good in the fact that it gives people a chance to stop and reminisce about that person. So it's really all part of the grieving and healing process for everyone involved. But I think the most important thing on top of all that is, the person you're there to see, or the person that's passed away. Have they committed their life to Christ? So if you haven't done that, then maybe you need to think about what's going to happen to you when you die. All right. Now, if you're an atheist, all I can tell you is you are going to die someday. And me personally, I do believe there is a heaven and a hell. And there's lots of evidence to back up claims for both, that both do exist and are real. So, whether you're an atheist or not, if you haven't committed your life to Christ, I would urge you to do so. And if you have questions about that, or you've never really been, a very religious person, you've never really gone to church, feel free to reach out to me. Send me a private message. I'd be more than happy to talk to you about it and discuss it with you a little bit more. And hopefully answer some of your questions if you have questions about that sort of thing. So, but yes, your heart, your soul, your mind, and your strength. And, that was one of Jesus' last teachings before he passed away. Or before he was crucified, betrayed, and then crucified. I just wanted to do that little lesson right there. Though it's kind of short and sweet, but I thought that was something I just was on my mind and wanted to hop on here and talk about a little bit. So again, for right now, these videos are all going to be on Facebook Live. I'm trying to build up an audience on my YouTube channel, just because you can do a little bit more on YouTube as far as editing, and it just has more options when it comes to doing live feeds. Obviously, a live feed, you can't edit it, so it's kind of all off the cuff here. I don't have any notes. Obviously, I'm driving, but so we'll see what happens. I may keep doing the whole Facebook Live. We'll see, kind of how this goes. But anyway, my channel on YouTube, I'll post a link to it below. It's at I Like Ike. And I got to get 50 subscribers on YouTube in order to start doing live feeds on YouTube. And along with that, once I hit 50 subscribers, I'm going to do a little giveaway. So whoever's one of my subscribers, I'll put them in some sort of random name generator, and I'm going to be giving away a little prize that you guys can win. So, and it's kind of, I referenced it in yesterday's video about money, but I'm actually going to be giving away a book. It's called The Total Money Makeover. It's a book about personal finance and how to get your personal finances in order. And so it's a really good book. It's a real easy read, but it walks you all the steps you need to do to build wealth and really live the dream. Yes, that still is an option today in America, even with all the negative things we hear in the news and the media. There's a lot of people really struggling out there right now. And if you don't get your financial house in order, it's going to be even more of a struggle. So this book is a phenomenal book. It'll really help you, make a budget, learn how to do a budget, what a budget is, and how to make a spending plan. Like I said, it's really helped out my wife and I and our family. I'll be quite honest, my wife would not be able to be a stay-at-home mom if we didn't have our finances in order. Now, are we millionaires? Not even close. But, through the income I make at my job, which honestly, I make a good living, but, I'm nowhere near six figures, okay? But, we live on a budget. We really try to stick to it. We got 2 young kids, 2 boys, and she is able to stay at home with them, which is really nice. There's not too many people that have the luxury or the opportunity to do that, and it's because they have to go to work because they need the money. So, but yeah, like I said, that'll be the first thing I give away, and I'm not giving it away until I get 50 subscribers on the YouTube channel. So, at I Like Ike on YouTube, and again, I'll post a link in the comments to this video once I get this video wrapped up and I stop for gas here. I'll try to stop and pop that in there for you guys real quick. So, but yeah, man, it's a beautiful fall day. A little rainy, but I think we could use the rain. It's been pretty dry this summer, especially up where I live, up in northwest Indiana. Probably one of the driest summers on record. So it's kind of nice to have a little rain. I'm driving through Metamora right now. Some of you on here know where Metamora is. But yeah, it's just really beautiful to see all these trees and the colors changing. And winter is definitely on its way. If you look at the forecast ahead for this week, it's going to be downright chilly. So first real hard cold snap coming in this week. So yeah, I think fall is on its way out and winter's on its way in. But I guess before I wrap up, we'll kind of go back to the whole religion. Obviously, nobody knows when Christ is coming back, but he is coming back someday. And you look at what's going on in the world right now, it's not good. All right. He can come back in 5 minutes from now. He could come back in 5,000 years from now. We really have no idea. Only God knows. But there's just a lot of stuff going on in our world that really makes you wonder, what the heck is going on. For example, great example just happened this past week. I didn't hear a whole lot about it in the mainstream media at all. But one of the guys I follow on YouTube is a meteorologist, and he doesn't work for a TV station. He does all of his forecasts and everything is all exclusive just to YouTube. But there was a hurricane that took place this past week in the Pacific Ocean. And that in itself is kind of unusual because there's not too often there's hurricanes in the Pacific Ocean. So that was the first thing that was a little bit unusual. But the second thing was, this wasn't even really supposed to be a hurricane. All the predictions and forecast centers said, it's going to be a tropical storm. Maybe might get Category 1. All right, so it's not going to really do a terrible amount of damage. We don't expect this to be a major event or a strong storm. All right, so that was like, I forget what day this thing made landfall. But anyway, they made that prediction. That was at night, let's say, and everybody went to bed. Well, overnight, in 12 hours, this storm, tropical storm, went from a tropical storm, which I don't know what the wind speed and all the stuff is for a tropical storm, but it went from a tropical storm to a Category 5 hurricane in 12 hours. It might have been even less than that. Okay. So very quickly went from a tropical storm to a major Category 5 hurricane, which this has never happened before. First time that something like this has ever happened, for a storm to just blow up like that and to happen that quickly. And then, of course, it made landfall in Mexico, and I believe it was a pretty big tourist area. Is where it made landfall. So, and honestly, I don't even know how much destruction it caused. But if it's a Category 5 hurricane, that's pretty serious. So, but I just found that to be very, very unusual. That first off, a hurricane happens in the Pacific Ocean, and second off, it went from a tropical storm to a Category 5 hurricane in 12 hours or less. That's never happened in modern recorded history. There's never been a storm that's done that. So maybe that's the signs of the times. I mean, I don't know. I just find that very intriguing that something like that happened. Another thing that happened you probably didn't hear about in the news. This one actually was a couple weeks ago. All right. At least I never saw this on the news anywhere. But I did catch the press release at the Pentagon. There was a few news reporters that picked it up, but I don't think it went mainstream. A couple weeks ago, the United States had a drone. I don't know if it was flying over Turkey. Honestly, I don't know where this drone was flying. I'm assuming it was over Turkey or somewhere in the vicinity of the country of Turkey. But that drone got shot down. All right, and I'm not even sure if they said who shot it down. But yeah, you didn't hear about that or really see that in the news either. So I believe it did happen after this whole Israeli-Palestinian events have taken place. I believe it was just a couple of days after that all started when this drone got shot down. So. Obviously, right now, with things going on in the Middle East, it's kind of a powder keg. Hopefully, cooler heads will prevail. Hopefully, they'll, take to heart that, the greatest commandment is to love your God, and the second greatest commandment is to love your neighbor. And that was another thing I wanted to talk about a little bit. Well, who are your neighbors? Okay. The short answer. Each one of us has approximately 7 billion neighbors. All right. Now that may sound crazy because you probably only know maybe a few hundred or a few thousand of those people personally. But we all live on one planet. All right. So everybody is everybody's neighbor when you really think about it. Okay. What I do here in Indiana probably doesn't affect, hardly anybody really. But I have the greatest opportunity to make an impact on the people I know and the people I meet. So those are who my neighbors are, all right? And that's typically what we think of when we think of our neighbors. It's the people we know, the people we live by, the people we see on a daily basis, all right? But I still think there's just a lot of hate going on out there in this world, and the current political scene in our country is not helping matters by any stretch. There's just a ton of partisan politics going on, which, you had that in years past, but not like you see it today. All right. For example, I remember when especially you older folks are going to remember a guy named Richard Lugar, senator here from Indiana. He was senator for many, many years. Very well liked senator, very well respected across the board. Didn't matter if you were Democrat or Republican. A lot of people looked up to him, and that's because he was a leader. And a lot of people on the kind of your extreme right wing, the Tea Party people, they used to be called the Tea Party. They're still around, but they're kind of your more far right wing Republicans didn't like the fact that he was willing to work with the Democrats. So they ran their candidate against him and defeated him in a primary. All right, so he didn't even get to run for re-election. Now I'll be honest, Lugar was getting up there in years. Was it time for him to retire? Probably. I think there's some senators and people in our Congress, it's time for them to hang it up and retire. Get out of Congress altogether. And again, I don't want to get into politics too much today, but he said when he got beat in the primary, he wrote an op-ed, and I don't remember where I saw it, if it was Indianapolis Star or where I saw this at. But he kind of saw the writing on the wall. He knew that partisan politics was going to be bad for our country. And basically he wrote in his op-ed that, this is not good that we got, far-right Republicans and far-left liberals getting elected into offices, because these people just do not get along with each other. And in order for our country to move forward, there has to be some compromises that take place. And right now, in our current state of our national government, it's getting harder and harder to do that. So, but yeah, that's who our neighbors are. First off, it's people who have different political affiliations, different political ideologies than what we have and what we grew up with. So that's one of our neighbors. Who's some of our other neighbors that maybe we don't think about or we don't necessarily agree with? I think a big one, and we've seen this really kind of get shoved down our throats really in the last few years, is people who have different gender identities. All your LGBTQ. I've heard somebody call them the ABC people. It's all those kind of people. They're our neighbors too. Whether we agree with it or not, they're part of our community. All right. Now, should we accept their beliefs? Well, that's up to every person individually, what they choose to believe. But we still need to love them as a person. All right? And again, that's my personal belief. I struggle with this quite a bit. I have some relatives that are gay or homosexual, and they've married someone from the same gender. And, that's kind of a hard one for me to wrap myself around, and I don't necessarily agree with that, but I still need to love them as a person, and whoever their spouse may be, man or woman. And that's a lot of that goes back to my religious beliefs and how I was raised. And I think a lot of people struggle with that. Typically, your more conservative people really don't like those kinds of people and their choice they made to someone else that's gay or to live that gay lifestyle. I kind of fall into that boat too. But again, the second greatest commandment in the Bible is to love your neighbor as yourself. So just something to think about. Again, I'm not trying to change what you believe. I'm not trying to change your thinking or how you were raised. I'm just simply telling the commandment in the Bible, and it's right out of Jesus' own mouth, is to love your neighbor as yourself. And I think, if we start, right here in our own community, then it can grow, make waves. All right, looks like we're back. Had a little connectivity issue there. But yeah. So we've talked about your political enemies are still your neighbors. Okay. Driving through a rural area. Don't have the best cell service here, apparently. So we'll try this again here until we get cut off, I guess. So yes, political enemies are your neighbors. People who have different Alright, we're going to give it another shot here. Hopefully I don't lose service again. But anyway, you can go back and get caught up later or after the video is over. But basically we're talking about religion today and what the two greatest commandments are in the Bible. And if you don't know what those are, I'll tell you the first one. And again, these are straight out of the mouth of Jesus. And the first one is, love the Lord your God with all your heart, your soul, your mind, and your strength. That's the title of the video today, if you saw that in the description. And then the second commandment is to love your neighbor as yourself. And before we lost connection, that's kind of what I was talking about. Who are your neighbors? Who is it we're supposed to love? And so we've already talked about people on the other side of the political aisle. They're our neighbors, and we need to love them, even though we don't agree with, their political ideologies. And then the second is people who are a part of this LGBTQ plus community. Okay? Obviously, you may not agree with them and how they're living their life, but they're still your neighbor. And then the third neighbor we have is people who are from other religions. Obviously, I'm a Christian, but I have some friends who are Jewish. I have some friends who are Muslim or follow the Islamic religion, and I know some people who are Indian. From the country of India. And then I also know some people that are Native American. And there's also, of course, many other religions and religious beliefs all over the world. But they are also our neighbors. Even though they don't believe what we believe, we still need to love them. And that's one of the greatest ways that, if you want to be a true Christian, to really promote what you believe, if you really want to show your faith, that's one of the best ways to do it, and that's to love people from other religious backgrounds. And right now, this is being played out right now in the Middle East and Israel, with these Hamas Islamic militants. That's a pretty extreme group that, or faction, or if you want to call it the denomination of the Islamic faith. And then, of course, you've got the Israelis, who have, and there's many different sects or denominations of the Jewish faith as well, just like there is in Christianity. There's all different denominations. There's Catholic, Lutheran, Baptist, Pentecostal, and several others. All right? Well, it's the same way with the Jewish religion, and it's the same way with the Islamic religion. So you got that going on. So that's another group of people who are our neighbors that we're supposed to love. All right. So we've got political neighbors. We've got, like I said, the LGBTQ community, and then we've got other religions. All right. What's another one that I still see a lot of strife in today's day and age? And that is with race. Yes, racism is real, and it does still exist in this country. All right. We've had some pretty major race riots in our country here in the last few years. It's just created a lot of tension, and people of other races, we need to love them just like we love our neighbors. All right. And it's real simple. It doesn't matter what race you're from or where you live in the entire world. We're all the same, honestly. When you look at our physical bodies, we all have the same organs, we all have the same blood. The only difference is our skin color might be a little bit different, and our facial features or our bodily features might be slightly different, but we're all people. And honestly, we're all part of the same race. So that's kind of a misnomer that they call it racism when we're all part of the same race. We're all human. We're all part of the same species, I guess, might be a better term. So that's another one, another group of people that we're supposed to love is our neighbor. All right. So those are kind of the four main ones that I can think of off the top of my head, where I still see a lot of strife and fighting and bickering going on. Right here, in my own community and in my own country. And again, I don't want to try to get too political today, but immigrants could be another one we could add to that. Obviously, immigration is a big thing, and like I said, I'm trying not to get too political on this particular video, but those are also people we need to love and show mercy to. But a lot of people don't agree on what the best way is to do that. So just some things to think about that I wanted to do with this video here today. So first off, I want to say thank you to Pastor Steve, because he kind of gave me the idea for this topic while I was at church this morning. Again, for now, Facebook Live is where I'll be doing these videos. Probably won't be putting out another video till Friday at the earliest. Just with the way my work schedule is, it's not very easy for me to do a live video Monday through Thursday. Probably be next Friday at the earliest, more likely next Saturday when the next live video will be coming out. But if you guys would do me a favor, like and share this video. I know we had some internet connectivity issues with the feed, but hopefully it'll still all come out as one video. I'm not real sure how this is going to work, but I guess we'll all find out together. If you would like and share this video, again, I'll post a link to my YouTube channel. Right now I'm just trying to get to 50 subscribers so that I can start doing these videos on YouTube instead of on Facebook. So again, my channel on YouTube is at @ILikeIke. So if you go to YouTube, you should be able to punch that in and discover or find my channel. But like I said, I'll put the link in the comments for this video. And again, if you guys have any questions or comments, you can throw them in the comments below this video, or feel free to private message me. I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. If you have any questions about anything, or if you disagree with something I said, I don't necessarily want to get into a debate. I'm just more or less trying to get you guys to try to think about these things going on in our country and our world, and try to open your mind a little bit. Maybe just a better way might be to try to walk in the other person's shoes. All right? Walk a mile in their shoes and maybe try to understand a little bit more about their situation and what they're going through. So, just some things to think about, some things going on that I wanted to get on and talk about today. So, again, thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate the views. I've already had several people subscribe to the YouTube channel. I don't have all those names right here in front of me, but shout out to all you guys. You know who you are, and I really appreciate that. And again, once I hit that 50 subscribers, I'll be giving away that book. So just another little reason to go over to YouTube and join and subscribe to my channel over there. So you all have a blessed rest of your Sunday, and take care, and we'll catch you on the next one. Adios.